see. Welcome. Monday evening. It's time for meditation. I've really needed this today. I am so happy that there's some people here to sit with me because I I need to sit. I hope everyone's having a good week, enjoying themselves. Some might even have, well, actually I'm just thinking of Sweden, but for us, summer vacation is coming to an end, so many people start working this week. Or next week they start working. So I don't know about you, how you're doing, but I hope you're having a good time either way. Hey Catherine, nice to see you. Stephen, nice. It feels like there's this, I'm not gonna say support group, but like a group of friends. Even though I've never met you, any of you, it just feels like it's a group of people. Like, oh, it's just regulars. We meet every now and then. We chat. It would be nice to do a Zoom call every now and then. I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to look into this fall if I can start some kind of forum or something where we could have regular meetings every month and actually interact with face to face, because that's just easier. I mean, I have my coaching students, and some of you are here as well. But it's, yeah, it would be a nice thing to have. I'll see if that can be arranged. I had a few things. Actually, I had a lot of things. The problem is, it's difficult to do more in-depth things because some people come and some they go. We have no national vacation in the US, just holidays. Yeah, it's called industrial vacation in Sweden. So, like the month of July, all the industries had the vacation at the same time, and it's always been like that. I'm not sure why, but it's just how it works. Yes, I had a few things that I want to bring up, and the problem is that when we go into depth, it kind of requires to reconnect, and requires people to be practicing things to be able to actually use it. Otherwise, it's kind of difficult to go into more details, and some of you are actually coming back over and over, and then it is useful. So there's a few things that when I work one-on-one on coaching and we do it on longer, then it's easier to do, of course. But I would also like to involve some of those elements here. It's not that I'm kind of hiding them and don't want to share them unless you pay me. That's not how it is. It's just, it's difficult to go into depth if you don't have a regular kind of meeting like that. But some things, there are actually two things that I have in mind. Hey JVB, nice as always. Two things that come to mind. The first one is, when you feel this sense of self, which is what we're looking at, this feeling of not wanting to be here or wanting to be somewhere else, it can be difficult to get at first. But when you sit and meditate, and say you feel there's an itch, like it itches here. So when we do the meditation now, like look at that, say it's itching somewhere, but we're going to say it itches here. If you sit still and you focus on your breath and you feel, oh, it's itches here, then what I want you to observe at the same time as you're doing the breathing, and you do the count and you follow your breath and you observe it, but then you feel there's a sense of almost like a rubber band, your arm going up, wanting to itch. And for the majority of people, this, I think I spoke about this a little bit last time, this is a reflex. We don't have time to think. It's just how we're controlled. So you feel like an itch, and the hand goes up and it starts itching. Now, what I want you to do this time is, when you feel the itch, I want you to not follow it. In other words, don't scratch it. It's not like you fail if you scratch it, that's fine. But I want you to feel that rubber band feeling of wanting to come up and scratch. And you'll feel it. It's almost like the arm kind of pulls up and wants to go there. And this is how we live most of our lives. We walk around and we see something fancy, we go, whoa, I need that. Or you see someone you find attractive, oh, I need that person. And then you feel that churning, and you want to have that. Or you see something you find attractive or something you want. So we constantly go around being dragged like this. We're trying to break that. And the way we do it is take something as simple as just an itch, and we try to feel, what does that feel like? And I want you to observe how this kind of comes up. There's a feeling of, this is me. There's a sense of existence, a sense of someone being here. I'm not talking about the watcher who's observing. I'm talking about the thing that actually exists here. And you can feel this when you sit, like you have a center point. It makes much more sense if you actually experience non-duality or non-centeredness, as I call it, because then that disappears, and then it's just, it's like this huge pressure is released, and you just walk around and everything is easy. And everyone has experienced this to a certain degree, but we're not aware of it. So I want you to look at that and see, where does this come from, and see almost like this extension wanting to pull, like observe these things, and then just let the arm stay there and see, what does that feel like? And then eventually just let yourself scratch it, and that's fine. Again, it's not like you're failing if you're letting it scratch. That's just, I mean, that's fine. And if you miss it and you come up with it afterwards, oh crap, I scratched myself, I forgot. That's great, because that means you're aware. Even though it happened after you scratched, you're aware. Like, I can promise you that the majority of people go through their day scratching, itching, blinking, doing this stuff the whole day, and they have no idea that they're having this stuff happening to them, like I said before. So in this sitting, I want you to focus on that. Does that make sense? And I have another thing, if I remember it after, about enjoying yourself, why that is so difficult, and something that has to do with the future and the now. But I'll take that after. So does that make sense? If we would work with something like that, we look for the rubber band, we feel where it comes from, and then you observe this feeling of wanting to itch. And what you'll notice is that if you look at this, it will change. And there are certain ways you can observe it and then realize that, oh, actually, I don't have to have this rubber band. I can let go of that. And then it's just an itch. And there's not this feeling of your whole body going, ooh, if I could only scratch this thing here, oh, my life would be so amazing. So I want you to start observing that and really feel what that feels like. Good, Catherine. And that then goes into all the other things in daily life. As I said, you go into a conversation, you have a conflict, someone says something to you, it's the same thing. They say, oh, you're behaving in a certain way, or I had someone today who was angry with me and it just took me by surprise. I've had a lot of people behave strangely towards me lately. Maybe not directly towards me, but it almost feels like it's hitting someone. It's someone that's being reflective. But you can also see when there's something strong coming up, it's easy to let go of it, because then it's so clear, oh wait, there's something here being hit, and there's this distortion towards what they're saying, and I can just let go of that distortion, this friction, and then there's space and openness, and then I can answer whatever I want to, but I don't answer from like a gut reaction. Instead, it's calmness that's coming out, it's peacefulness. It's not you reacting without thinking, it's just you being able to calm down and see what's happening and then take the best decision. So it's not that we don't do anything at all and say everything's fine, I just accept reality as it is, I don't exist. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Cool. So yeah, any other quick questions before we start? Is that clear? Again, if this is too much, just skip it, just follow the breathing exercise, that's fine. It's like I said, I would love to go into more details, but it is difficult because since I don't actually speak to you one-on-one, and it's difficult for me to go into so much, how should I call it, continuation with what we're dealing with. But anyway, I wanted to share more. That's the whole reason I took this up, and I want to see what is actually possible to do in a sitting like this, where everyone is here kind of, and we're not having a one-on-one conversation, because I think we can do much more than we do. So I'd like to try it. If there's anyone here that's new, we start normally with a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, which means that we say out aloud 5 things we can see, 4 things we can touch, 3 things we can hear, 2 things we can smell, and 1 thing that we can taste. And the whole idea behind it is not just to list them off. We want to really stop, be aware that I am seeing, and then seeing this object without trying to, oh, I already know this is a sofa, but actually just trying to see it, really see that it's there, if that makes sense. Identify the source of this. It's good, JVP. Same thing when we smell, we just try to smell those things without feeling, oh, that's a bad smell, that's a good smell. You'll often hear me say, I smell sweat. And the first time I said that, oh, I wonder what people are going to say, it was a thought that came up, and like, well, it's fine. People can think whatever they want, because that's a smell I have. I've often been working outside, and then I smell sweat, or I might have a bad breath, and that's okay. that's what we have going on right then. So we just observe what we're smelling, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. After that, we sit for 20 minutes. Today is Monday, and so we'll have a guided meditation. I'll guide you through the steps of what to do. And in this particular instance, I would like you to observe, as I said, the rubber band effect of when you have an itch, of how you want to move and scratch that itch. And see if you can observe the details in that. Is there a sense of someone here that is agitated, that wants to get rid of that agitation by moving their arm and doing this? And then by doing this, you believe that you will feel better than you did before. So I want you to start breaking that down. If it's not too much for you, then just observe the breathing otherwise. So say it out loud with me. I see 5 things. I can see a globe lamp. I can see a red USB cable. And really take your time to observe the things you're seeing. I see a fire extinguisher. I see the glass on a camera lens. And I see my reading glasses. Those were 5 things that I could see, and then we take 4 things that we can touch. I have an itch, and I can touch my itch, my hair. I can touch the blanket that I have lying on me. I can touch the metal tube of throat pills. And I can touch the carpet. 4 things that I could touch. Now we take 3 things that we can hear. I can hear the fan from the air conditioner. And it's nice to listen for maybe not always the most obvious sound, but actually things in the background that you can hear. I can hear tires driving on the road. I can hear the fan of my computer spinning up and down. There's 3 things that we could hear, and now we take 2 things that we can smell. They're gradually getting more nuanced. It requires more focus to be aware of them. I can smell shampoo. I can smell warm fabrics. Finally, we take 1 thing that we can taste. I can taste saliva. So I want you to start focusing on your breath. And we're not necessarily looking for every nuance detailed in a small part of your nose where the air comes in and hits the back of your nose, or try to feel what it feels like as the air cools down your throat, or like minute details. Instead, we're trying to observe large spaces, trying to be more aware of breath happening in your upper torso area, being aware that there is breath. And you can sometimes feel this as a sensation of movement. Sometimes it's just awareness that you are aware that you are breathing. But we are trying to be focused in on the actual breath, not trying to change the actual breath. Instead, we just let breath happen by itself. When I do the counting, I will breathe in and breathe out, and you can hear me do that, but that's not how we're trying to breathe here. I just do that to make it clear and easy to follow. Instead, see if you can just step to the side. Just step to the side and let breath happen by itself and see how it works. Sometimes you'll notice that your breath is shallow. Sometimes it's going to be deeper. Sometimes very fast. And sometimes really slow. I remember reading a book where it said that when you're in deep states of samadhi or concentration, you actually stop breathing for several minutes. Now, I'm not sure if that is true or not, but I can tell you that when you sit and you become absorbed into these deep states, I simply don't understand how there's enough air moving in and out of your lungs to keep you getting enough oxygen. So your breath will get very slow, and sometimes you might actually jerk to awareness, thinking, am I breathing? Or and there's a bit of panic because you actually stop breathing for a while, and that's perfectly fine. Your parasympathetic nervous system will always kick in, so you can't actually hurt yourself. Well, you could fall over if you fainted somehow, but I've never heard anyone do that. So instead, you just observe what happens and see how the tempo of the breath changes. We're also going to sit for 20 minutes, and I'm sure you, just as I and everyone else, have things on their mind, of things that happen before you sat down, things that you are waiting for to happen after, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week or next month, next year, whatever it is that is going to happen, whatever it was that happened. Ask yourself if you can just spend the next 20 minutes leaving that to the side. Just see if it's okay to take a break from all of that. I promise you, as soon as you're done with the meditation, you can go right back and start observing and thinking and trying to solve problems, trying to analyze what was right, what was wrong, what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened, what's going to happen, what might happen, what could happen. You can do all those things, but just ask yourself that for the next 20 minutes, is it okay if you just take a break from all of that? And instead, just focus on your breath. So to make this a little bit easier, we will do a technique where we count from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1. I'll do it together with you one time, and then you can continue by yourself. So breathing in and breathing out. 1. Breathing in and breathing out. 2. Breathing in and breathing out. 3. Breathing in 4. Breathing in and breathing out. 5. Breathing in and breathing out. 6. Breathing in and breathing out. 7. Breathing in and breathing out. 8. Breathing in, breathing out. 7. Breathing in and breathing out. 6. Breathing in, breathing out. 5. Breathing in, breathing out. 4. Breathing in and breathing out. 3. Breathing in and breathing out. 2. Breathing in, breathing out. 1. And now continue counting for yourself from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1 as you breathe in, breathe out. 1. Breathe in, breathe out. 'As you're sitting, see if you have an itch somewhere. Maybe there's some slight pain or uncomfortableness that you feel you want to do something about. I want you to feel, look at, and feel at the same time as you're observing your breath. Can you see the rubber band wanting to pull your arm up? Can you feel that there's almost like a thread coming out from the point where it's itching? There's an itch, there's an urge. There's a sense of uncomfortableness telling you that all you need to do is move your arm here and scratch with your hand, then everything will be fine. Just see if you can observe these small distortions, these very simple and uncomplicated parts of our daily life that happen all the time. But now as you're sitting down and observing your breath, you're giving yourself a chance to feel, to see and observe what is happening and be okay with that. And learn how to observe these distortions inside of you. So when you feel that itch, that sense of slight uncomfortableness, see if you can just sit with it for a little while and break it apart. What parts can you separate it into? Or is it just one whole sensation? Whatever you feel, that's okay. Just observe, and when you feel you don't want to do it anymore, then scratch or move whatever it is that's uncomfortable. All the while observing your breath as you're breathing in, breathing out. 1. Breathing in and breathing out. as you're observing these distortions, these rubber bands trying to make you move or trying to feel like you need to change something, ask yourself, why are you not okay right now? Why are you not feeling happiness, a sense of calmness, fulfillment, of just being here? I'm not talking about ecstasy or any strong emotions. I'm talking about the sense of just enjoying being here. If you can't feel that right now, then ask yourself, why? Why are you waiting to do that? There's a belief that if something would change, then sometime in the future, then I will feel better. Then I can enjoy myself. And there's actually a change you can do in your perspective. Instead of thinking, oh, if only this happens, then I can allow myself to feel happy. What I want you to ask yourself is, why are you letting that thing that has not happened keep you from feeling happiness now? Why are you not allowing yourself to feel this deep sense of everything being okay? This deep sense of just being here, and that's all that you need. What is it that comes in and disturbs that peace? And when you see that, then see if you can let go of it. What would happen if you actually allowed yourself to be okay? Dare I say, even enjoy being here? Play around with that a bit as you're observing your breath while you're breathing in and breathing out. 1. Breathing in, breathing out. As usual, you can keep on sitting, but if you decide to open your eyes and start moving, then do so slowly and see if you can bring that awareness with you as you get up and start engaging with the world around you. I'll drink some tea, and if there's any questions, you're welcome to ask them, or you can just drink some tea with me as well. Something I realized recently was this change of perspective. I always said that I have a belief that if only this happens, then I will be happy. If you watch my video why I become a monastic, I said that if I could only find the perfect girl, that then I would be happy. Or if I could only make enough money, find my life's purpose, then I would be happy. I'm very happy to hear that, Stephen. Nice. The shift that I did, instead of thinking if I could only have this, then I'd be happy, is why am I not allowing myself, why am I allowing that to keep myself from feeling good now, to enjoy being here? Why do we constantly ruin this moment with what happened in the past, or what we think should happen in the future? Mindful Mama is saying, thank you, so nice to practice with that. Why can't I be happy now? Yeah, it's really, the more you think about that, the more I think about it, the more I ask myself, why? Why do I not let myself feel good now? Just because someone did something earlier today that was unpleasant, uncomfortable, why do I let that ruin now? Why can't I just enjoy being here? Because this is a beautiful moment. It's comfortable, it's calm, it's peaceful. I have my friends online that I'm chatting with, and I'm sitting here. I'm perfectly comfortable. Why would I then let what happened before ruin this moment of not allowing myself to feel good? Or if I have some kind of fear what will happen in the future, why do I not allow myself to feel good now because of that? Because when you think about it, you only have now. If you're ever going to feel good, that can only happen now. It can never happen outside of now. If you decide you're going to let yourself feel good tomorrow, when that moment happens, it's going to be now. It's just going to be now tomorrow. And if you think you're going to achieve something and then you're going to let that happen, and then you will allow yourself to feel happiness, then that's also going to be now. It's just now. Why not do it now? Why wait until the next now in the future? And then when you start observing this, it comes up, well, I can't feel good now because they did this, they said that, this is going to happen, this is terrible. And we have all these things around us that keep telling us, no, you shouldn't feel good. And if you look at marketing and TV, they're kind of made to make you feel bad, because you can't feel good now, but we have the solution. When you buy this, then you will feel good. Then you can allow yourself to feel good, because if you just buy this product, this service, or whatever it is, then you will feel good. It is crazy when you think about it. See, Stephen is saying we identify with things that don't exist. Yeah, because it's just now. And the funny thing about now is that what is happening now is something you cannot change, because it's already here. This is also like a thing that messes with the mind. This moment is, there's nothing you can do about this moment. The one coming next, you can move differently and change that one. But this one is already here. No matter what it is, it's already here. And you can't change now. There's going to be another now in a few seconds, or there's a continuous stream of nows. But you can't change this one. You can influence the next one. It's interesting when you think about it. But it also lends to the same theory that why not feel good now? Because there's no point in finding the now. You can do something about the future, and you can move in a different direction. You can't do anything about what happened in the past. So why not just allow yourself to feel good? JVB is writing, the itch tells me that the glamour I see in people's social media makes me believe that they have genuinely reached happiness. And a part of me believes they have reached happiness in glamour. It's kind of what social media is made to do, almost. I have a friend, he says, it's not Facebook, it's fake book. Because everyone takes one moment when they're having a good meal, and then they take specific angle, and then when I want to show the view, and then when I have the light perfect, and they just put it up like that, and they take a photo, and they said, "Oh, having dinner with my besties," and then everyone smiles, and as soon as you take the photo, they go back, and then they eat the food, and they're just like completely unaware of what they're doing. It's just how it is. You should really watch. There's a lot of videos of how social media is not true, and it's so easy to believe that, and it's very easy to see things that we believe, oh, if I could only have that, then I would be happy. Which, again, I'm not saying that having certain things can't make it easier to be happy or feel good, or even that you shouldn't strive towards them. I mean, obviously having a better circumstance around you, meaning that you don't have to worry about money, or that you have food on your around you, in like a house that you feel comfortable in a neighborhood, things for your children or things for yourself that you need, and not have to work 20 hours per day. Okay, I'm not sure how many people work 20 hours per day, but work double shifts, so you constantly have to stress. Then yes, having more money would really make it easier to feel good now. But that's not now. That's something you can work towards. You can still allow yourself to enjoy now. And you could enjoy having whatever it is you have, because that's already now. So the idea that something magical is going to happen when you get that next thing is just not true. What you should really ask yourself is, why are you letting that keep you from feeling good now? Even if it's true that those glamorous people are feeling happy, you can feel good now. Stephen, you said, no, sorry, it was JVB. Sorry, Stephen was saying that he felt good after the meditation. You were able to feel good without all the glamour. And I'm not saying glamour isn't good. I mean, glamorous stuff can be fun if you enjoy those kind of things. But why are you letting yourself keep yourself from feeling good now because of that? I want you to shift that and look and ask yourself, and not to criticize and make yourself feel bad about it. It's not a koan, but it's a mental exercise to really look at what's going on inside, and not just move on autopilot and say, oh, yep, they have all this glamorous life. If I could just have that, I would be happy, so I'm going to feel bad now because I wish I had that. Instead of asking, like, wait a minute, that looks really nice. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't mind having a Ferrari driving around, and I wouldn't mind going to fancy restaurants and dressing up and, like, looking really super fit, and, like, yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I wouldn't have anything against that. But why would I let that stop me from feeling good now? I can feel good now and work towards that. Shift it towards, why are you letting that keep you from feeling good now? See, Catherine is saying, and then Facebook uses the information to feed you ads that make us feel bad about ourselves. Yes, it does. They're specifically seeing your patterns of who you are, what kind of weaknesses and strengths you have, and then they target. Oh, it's insane. It's really the way. I remember hearing a psychologist that was taught. He worked with. It was what do you call it? Not a psychologist, but a curator, we call it in Swedish, a therapist. I think they worked at universities anyway. So he was saying that I think it was 2012, 2013. All of a sudden, there was a huge upswing in college students who just got depressed and felt like absolutely terrible, and it just happened in a matter of a year, and they didn't really understand what it was. But it turned out that was when Facebook introduced, I think it was the like buttons, and like they changed their algorithms, how it worked. So it was so tied into, oh, I need to get likes from people liking my photo, and that behavior caused people to feel bad. And now the way it is today is so much worse than it was back then. You should really stay away from that stuff more than you need to. Andreas, hey, nice to have you here, Andreas. Do you have better inner balance now than you was as a Buddhist monk? That is actually a good question. I was just in contact with someone from my life when I was a Buddhist monk, and it reminded me, it was a person who supported me, who had a beautiful house up in the mountains in Kandy, and they offered me, said, if you want, you can come and meditate here for a week. And I stayed a week in this house that was up in the mountain. It was so calm, so serene, and I was there all alone in this big house, and they had someone who brought me food every day, and I could meditate there. And I remember how good I felt being there, how peaceful it was, how easy it was to be present and walk around, just feel all the things around me and to feel stable, to feel that I really enjoy being here. I have very fond memories of that time. Now, do I have better inner balance now than when I was there? The thing was, when I was there, I had no responsibilities. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have 2 kids. I didn't have a house. I didn't have a job. I didn't have, like, even this is a responsibility. I didn't have all the things around me that I need to take care of. So I minimized the things around me and made them very, very small. And then, yes, that's much easier to handle. For sure. I'm not going to stick that and say that that's not true. But I would say my ability to cope with stress or adverse circumstances are much better now, because I've had to practice it. That was one of the reasons I disrobed, was because I felt that it's kind of, what's the point of being able to feel calm when everything's working around you and everyone says like, oh, you're amazing, you're holy. It's like, oh, so beautiful to see, you're so spiritual, and it's so wonderful how you're walking on this path and you couldn't really see anything wrong because you're a monk and people adore you. Yeah, it's pretty easy to make things work and to feel okay then, but you're not really having to work with the difficult parts of life. So one of the reasons I disrobed was because I wanted to have those things come up. I actually had, towards the end, I just felt good most of the time. I didn't really feel like I needed to do much. I just enjoyed life. So yes, I could have stayed with that and kept on doing that, but I always felt that there was something missing. There was something that I couldn't observe or work with if I lived a life that was so minimized that I didn't have anything that bothered me. So in a way, yes, I had balance. I had a more peaceful mind. But small things could get me out of that peace easier than they can now, for sure. I hope that answers the question. Stephen, I think the world tells you what success is and how you can be happy only if you are successful by their standards. Yes, and that's why I keep saying this. Like, why are you not allowing yourself to feel good now because of that? Success, as in earning money or becoming whatever it is you're referring to, I mean, that's fine. If someone says success is earning this amount of money, then that's true. But why are you letting that ruin your ability to feel good and enjoy now? Why wait until that time? It really is. It's when you get this, when you really sit and think about this, which is why I brought it up in the meditation, because as I said, I normally do that more in the individual sessions, but I wanted to try it here also, because when you start looking at this, it makes you question, and it takes a long time. It's not like, oh, I get it now, I understand it, or even if you really felt it now, next time you sit, it might not be there. But asking yourself this over and over throughout the day, you'll start noticing that you go around with so much tension, so much worry, so much fear, so much anxiety, so much wanting things to be different, so little joy, so little appreciation, and so little awareness of what you're actually experiencing through your senses. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. And then what's really difficult is you'll sit here now and then it works, and then all of a sudden you feel a breakthrough and you go out and you go around and you really appreciate the world and you go, what, life is so easy. Why am I making everything so difficult? Look at this. This is amazing. Look at this thing here. This is insane. This thing could, like, takes my sound and sends it. That's incredible. And look how beautiful the light is from this lamp here. This is a beautiful light, and the shades and the all the nuances of gray. It's just, this is a beautiful couch, like a sofa. It's really, really beautiful when you're really aware of that. And then the next day you come back to the sofa and you say, oh, it's just a sofa. I don't feel any kind of peace and hopefulness. Like, what was different? Maybe it was the stars were aligned somehow, or maybe it was a full moon or something. And then it can get really depressing, because then you're like, you want to get back to that state. And then you have to ask yourself, why are you not allowing yourself to feel good now just because you're not feeling the way you did back then? So it is sometimes a frustrating journey, but if you really keep looking at this, observing this, and not being hard on yourself, because you are going to fall off. I do it too. I've done this for 14 years since I really, well, more longer, but like since it really took off for me, it's 14 years, and I practice every single day since then. And many years I've practiced like the entire days, just focus on meditation. And it's still difficult sometimes. But no one really explained to me how to do this, and there was just so much dogma and ideas and rituals that it just didn't work. That's why I kind of developed this way of viewing it, because this works. And if you observe this and you see, oh, this doesn't work for me, then, well, that's fine, then observe something else. But if you try this and it actually works, then why not finding more joy? Why not allow yourself to be happier? Someone will say, no, you shouldn't feel happy, because then you're something. I can hear my grandmother saying, like, oh no, you shouldn't, like, you should be worried about these things, you don't mess up or something. Like, I don't know, it's like, yeah, it's strange. JVB is saying, if I may be open about another itch, go ahead. I'm upset that someone didn't respond to my text when they said they would. It's been 2 weeks since I've sent them my last text. I feel like a fool for believing them. That is difficult, because that sounds a lot like a love interest or someone you care about, a close friend or something. And then you have this sense of me wanting to be validated, and you have feelings for them. And again, I'm not saying, oh, just skip feelings. Feelings are bad. You should go live as a Buddhist monk and just live in celibacy. There's a lot of people who say, basically believe that, okay, just JVB, just skip like relationships and live in celibacy. Life is so much better, because that's what the monks do. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's the same thing with this. You are not allowing yourself to feel joy now because they didn't do something you expected them to do. And that doesn't mean that that's okay, or it's a good thing for them to do, or that it's even a nice thing for them to do. It just means that happened, and you're keeping yourself from feeling good now because of that. I know that's not easy to let go of, but if you look at that and ask yourself, like, how can I enjoy now despite that? What is it or you can turn it around and ask, what is it you believe would be so different if they did that? And why can't you enjoy it now? They're not here now. They're somewhere else. And if they would respond to you, they still wouldn't be here. They would be somewhere else. And if you close your eyes, you can see the text. So there would be absolutely no difference if they responded or if they didn't. It's the same thing, but you're still allowing yourself, you're still keeping yourself from feeling good and enjoying now because of this thing. And that's not, I'm quite hard with these things, and it's not because I want to talk down to you and say you're a bad person, you should live in celibacy, you should do this. No, I'm just saying you're keeping yourself from enjoying now because of this, and that is difficult, I know. I've been in that seat so many times. I am so happy that I found someone that I love and who loves me, so I don't, and who doesn't like these kind of games, so I haven't had to deal with that for a very long time. But I do remember the pain and the anguish and the worry of feeling rejected, not feeling loved. And I wish I would have known what I know now back then, but I mean, I didn't. And you kind of have to go through that, and you have to see that suffering, because the good thing about this is when you feel that strong sense of like, oh, I wish they sent that, that's a really strong rubber band. And if you can observe that strong rubber band, which you don't want to, because you can feel your mind going, I don't want to touch this. I just want someone to say they're a bad person, or I want them to answer me and tell them me whatever. Instead of doing that, just observe the rubber band and see if you can see this, and see if you can look at this and see, actually, I don't have to do this. I can let go of this. I can enjoy now. Just see if you can work with that and observe what would happen. I'm terrible at giving life advice. Catherine, JVB's laughing. I'm good. You're laughing. I'm quite hard with you sometimes, but I hope you understand why. And it's not because I'm criticizing you. It's because I really want you to observe this and realize that you can be happy now. It doesn't matter. Catherine, envy and jealousy often prevent people from being able to enjoy the moment or their own accomplishments, in my opinion. Yeah, that's just distortion. I mean, it's a rubber band. Envy and jealousy, it's the feeling of, oh, I can't allow myself to feel good now because they have something better than me. And no, I want to have that also. And I mean, it's just the other day. Oh yeah, I saw a friend's house. Wow. Wow. Like this huge mansion down by the beach, and that, like, and I was like, holy moly! And I know they're very successful. And then this apartment, like, hey, I wish I had that. And they're like, well, I don't. Why? That's okay. Should I feel? I mean, I can work towards that, but I also know that they had to work really hard and had to make effort to get to where they are, and I'm not willing to work like that. So then I can allow myself to feel good now and look at that house and see, wow, it would be really nice to live in just a little bit bigger house than we do. That would be all I needed. But I can still enjoy being here now. But you're right, Catherine. Andreas, a monk told me that don't accept anything from people that you don't be disappointed. Don't expect anything from people, then you won't be disappointed. Yeah, but at the same time, it's not that you can't expect things, it's that you hinge your happiness on what you expect from them. So I mean, obviously, if I'm sitting in the same room as Andreas, I would expect Andreas not to hit me in the face when I sit and meditate with him. I would expect that. I think I can honestly say that every single one of you are here now. I would expect none of you to hit me in the face if we sat meditating next to each other. So, and I think that this monk would probably agree that, yeah, you can probably safely expect that, and that's not a bad thing. We need to have stereotypes. We need to expect certain things of our surroundings. Otherwise, we'd constantly be on edge. I expect the roof not to fall down on my head. So it's not that you can't expect things, it's that you should not hinge your happiness on what happens. Meaning that if I sit and one of you decide to punch me in the face, then obviously I should move my head, or I should try to get the hand away, or I should react and like say, what the heck are you doing, and then move out of there, or do something about it. So it's not that you can't expect things from people. You need to expect things from people, otherwise you can't do anything. Try driving a car and not expecting things from other people. You should always be expecting them not to do what you expect them to do, especially when you're driving a car, because there's a lot of people who do weird things. But you need to expect some kind of rule abiding in society. That's kind of why we have society. But don't let that decide your happiness or enjoyment of being here. Catherine, JVB, don't look at it as rejection. You will have to teach yourself to think of it as one door must close for another one to open. That unanswered text may be a good thing. That's also a really good thing. I think I'm not sure if I've spoken about it here, but my first serious girlfriend cheated on me with someone else, and I was so heartbroken. I mean, I could barely function. I would like sit and eat with my parents, and I just randomly start bawling my eyes out, crying. I was completely devastated. I didn't think there was any purpose to life because I lost her. If I could only have her, then I would be happy. And now I was not allowing myself to enjoy being alive because of her. In hindsight, wow, did I dodge a bullet. Holy moly. But I didn't know that then, but I can know that now. And now I have someone who I really care about, who I really love, and who I thoroughly enjoy being with, and who I have a family with, and I have amazing children. Even despite everything difficult that happened, I love my kids, and I love the person I'm with. And if that other girl would have not done what she did, I would have probably never become a monk, and I would not be where I am today, and I'd probably be miserable, judging from how things went for her. So, yeah, that's also a way of looking at it. We don't know why things happen. Oh, it's past 9 o'clock. Thank you, as always. Love having these conversations, and I really enjoy the sitting today. I hope you did too. And if it's okay with you, I'll try to bring more of these things in to these sittings also, if it works and if you feel that it's useful. It is difficult when I can't give you homework or we can't really talk one-on-one, but I still think that we can do a bit more, so I'll continue introducing those things. Thank you for a really nice evening, and I wish you all a pleasant week, and I'll see you back on Thursday. Thank you.